All right. So, welcome to the stream. I am decided to do a live stream, something that's kind of easy. It's going to be posted. I'm doing Pico De Gallo again. So, if you missed my last live stream, I did Pico De Gallo along with a steak and shrimp burrito. Problem was, I got the jalapeno in my eye, man, and it took me like about a good 30 minutes to really recover. So I'm going to be very careful about that tonight, but I'm going to be making the recipe just a little bit differently. I'm going to be using fresh garlic in it as well. And I'm going to be using some soul food seasoning as opposed to just like regular salt. Because I feel like while this does have salt in it, it's still going to add a little bit more depth of flavor in the pico de gallo as well. Now, I'm not telling you, I'm just trying it because I wanted something a little bit different. It may work, it may not, but this is kind of like an experiment for me too. So we're going to see. First, what you want to do is you get all your ingredients gathered. That includes my cilantro. I have 5 Roma tomatoes in there and 2, I don't know if y'all can see it, 2 jalapeno peppers in there too, large jalapenos. And I also have, hold on one second. And I also have some garlic as well. I have 1 large clove of garlic that I'm going to be using. And I think this is going to add some, it's going to add some spice because it is fresh. But I think it's going to add some really good flavor too. And I didn't add this last time. And I'm going to be doing some white onion. And since this bad boy is kind of big, I'm going to be using half of it. Let's see how it goes. But that's 5 tomatoes, a bunch of cilantro, 2 jalapeno peppers, 1 large garlic, white onion, but I'm only going to use half. And then I'm going to be using my soul food seasoning and lime juice. So basically, it's really simple. Just chop everything up as small as you can. You can do it big, but it just depends on how much you want to have. It depends on if you want to kind of like have it really chunky. So when you dip your tortilla chip in there, you get like a big thing or little small chunks. Just depends on you. First thing I'm going to start off with is the tomatoes. Now, there are going to be some times when you go get your tomatoes and let me see. I'm not going to seed these, by the way. I'm not going to take the seeds out because I'm going to need all that moisture to help make kind of like the sauce. But if you notice, there are sometimes you'll get tomatoes that have like a little bit of dents or anything like that. That's okay. All you got to do is just cut it off. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and get all of my tomatoes chopped up and add it to the bowl. And I'm going to remove any bad bits that I see. Get down low so you can see me. Okay. I mean, I ain't got to get that low. I'm already short. So I like to take the little tops off of them. Just a quick little chop. And I believe in the last video I told you guys to quarter them. Now you can make them as, like I said again, you can make this as big or as little as you want. The vegetables, but just make sure that they're all uniform. So if you're going with all big chunks, then make sure that everything is big chunks. If you're going with the smaller, then make sure that everything is just cut accordingly. So I'm going with smaller chunks tonight. And once I get them cut up and everything and add it to the bowl, I'll show you. Because I want to make sure I get the most out of my ingredients. And I also don't want big chunks of like onions and jalapeno peppers like in my food when I'm eating it. I love it. I just don't want a big chunk of it, you know. See, like this, just cut it off. And you're good to go. What I find when you're cutting tomatoes, just so you know, whenever you're cutting tomatoes, if your knife is not as sharp as it needs to be, it can be very slippery. But I find that cutting it peel side down on the cutting board is probably the best method for you to cut them because you have that friction. If your knife is not sharp and you're trying to cut that skin and it's already wet, it's going to be some issues. So work with a sharp knife. That helps. That also helps you cut down on getting hurt, like getting sliced. The thicker the knife, the sharper the knife, the easier it is to glide through whatever you are cutting. These tomatoes smell good already. And I haven't even added anything to them. Okay, got a couple more, guys, and then we can move on to the other stuff. Last three. Make sure that every time you're chopping, keep your fingers curved so you don't chop your hand off. Not your whole hand, but your fingertips, definitely. All right. Last bit of the tomatoes. Nice. I see some that did not get all the way separated. So you want to kind of go through there and just make sure that all of your pieces are the way you want them. Make sure that they're all small and that they're all separated. But see what I mean? Like small pieces. And so now I'm going to rinse off my board. All right. So, onions next. I'm going to do half. See which one is the bigger half. Yeah, I'm going to use this one. Same thing. Just try to cut them the same size as your tomato and everything else that you cut. Make sure that everything is uniform. So what I like to do is I kind of like to make my incisions going the long way like this first. If y'all can see how I'm going my knife. Like this. And then you're going to go crossways and chop them up into like perfect little blocks. Remember, always fold your fingers in, please. If you don't, it's curtains. No, it's kind of tricky when you do an onion, so you got to be careful. But yeah, so then you go crossways, and then you get your dices. Got to be careful because I am trying to cut this as really small. But again, my knife isn't as sharp as it needs to be doing this. So I just need to be very, very careful. Okay, so I got that. And then so when you get to that tail end of the onion, you just chop that up as small as you can. Don't risk chopping your fingertips off just trying to get that onion perfect. Okay. Cool. So now we got the onions ready. I don't know if y'all can see. How the onions are. Very small. You want to go ahead and add that into your tomatoes. Now, some people use red onions. Like the last time I used red onions, and it was delicious, you know. But I'm just pushing it up and using some white onions this time. I'm also going to be adding garlic. Now, I don't have my garlic press. Usually, I have like a little garlic press that I just put this bad boy in and then just squeeze it out. Already done for me. I'm gonna have to go with the old school way. So you take this, put it flat on your board. You take your knife, put it flat, and you crush it down. This is gonna help all of that skin separate so you can get to the garlic that's in the skin, underneath the skin. And it just comes right off. And like I said, I'm only going to be using one garlic clove because I don't want it to be overpowered with garlic. But I did see this on a recipe and I wanted to try it. So here's the garlic clove. If you notice there's a little brown tip on it, you can use it or you can toss it. It's up to you. I'm going to toss it and cut this as small as I can. Now remember, the smallest, if you cut this very, very small, it's going to release a lot of the garlic flavor, so it's going to be very hot. So leave it a little chunky. Then you might risk of biting into a big chunk of garlic, but it's not going to be as spicy. So just food for thought. Take it, crush it with the knife again, and then chop. Whew. There we go. So now this is as small as I'm chopping my garlic. See that? See a little piece of. All right. Next up, cilantro. So what I like to do is just take the leaves, kind of break them off like this. And you can use the rest of this cilantro for something else. Don't throw this away. Please don't. It's actually good for digestion too, amongst a whole host of other things. But I do use the stems. Sometimes people take the stems out. You can, or you can just chop them up really, really, really fine, which I'm planning on doing. But if you know that you are not the type of person that likes to chop things up really fine, you probably want to move the stems. And what I like to do is kind of take all of the greens and fold it up like a nice little ball. Like a nice little ball. And then I just start cutting slowly in small strokes. It smells so good when you start chopping it. It smells so fresh. Now I turn the whole thing and I cut it the other way too, just to make sure everything is chopped up the way I need it to be. Small as possible. I like a lot of cilantro. That's why I didn't mind using basically that whole thing. But remember, this is to your taste. So if you make it just like I made it and it's too much cilantro, or you think it's too many peppers, or it's going to be too hot, adjust it. I don't mind. I'm just trying to show you the basics and you just make it your own, dear. That's all. All right. One more rough chop through. And it should be small enough to where, yeah, there you go. Awesome. Okay, so you take all of your cilantro and add it to your tomatoes, onions, and your garlic. Be careful when you're doing this. You don't want to cut yourself accidentally. I just feel like I got to keep telling y'all to be careful. That's just the mom in me, I guess. All right, so clean up my space. Yeah, I'm gonna clean up my space. All right, jalapeno time. Now, I'm going to definitely remember not to put my hands on my face this time. So, as I said, sometimes when you go shopping, you might find something to have like a little bit of little discoloration or something like that. Just simply cut it off, y'all. That's it. Now, of course, since I'm cutting this off right here, I'm going to de-seed this one, but I'm going to use all of the seeds in this one. Okay? Now, you want to be on the safe side, you can use gloves. If I had some, I probably would use them, but I'm just going to make sure I pay extra attention this time. That was not fun. And it takes forever, and you can feel the heat like spreading. As soon as you put that stuff in your eye, man, it's crazy. So I cut most of the membrane out and got most of the seeds out here. Got a little bit left, but that's not a bad thing. That's not really a big deal. So now, cutting the peppers in half. And then I'm going to quarter those pieces. Okay, and then get these pieces as small as possible. Actually, I'm going to even take these pieces and cut these in half. And remember, if your knife is not sharp, just take the skin side and put it down on your board so that you can get more grip. Again, after you finish with these peppers, please wash your hands. Don't be like me and touch your eye. Forget. It's a terrible feeling. And it's not like it's going to go away quickly either. All right, so now you take it and now you just start cutting everything very, very small. Carefully. Okay. Cut these small as well. Okay, cool. There we go. So now my jalapeno has been chopped. Add it to the mix. Wash everything, including my hands. All right. Dump this.
What the heck?
All right, so now we have all of our ingredients, all beautiful. Your tomatoes, your white onions, just in case you're just joining me. Tomatoes, white onions, jalapeno peppers, and cilantro, and garlic inside. One large clove of garlic. So with the salt, again, this is seasoned salt. Typically, you're supposed to use white salt. I'm going to do something a little different because this has more flavor, less salt. So on my spoon, I'm just going to measure about a teaspoon of salt. I don't like a lot of salt in my food, so y'all can kind of see. Maybe you can't. Oh man, I can't get a good shot on that. See, it's not really that much at all. Sprinkle it all over. See, not much at all. Lime juice. Again, fresh lime is always better, right? I was just in the pinch, so I had to do what I had to do. So what I'm going to do is use two things of lime juice. 1 and 2. All right. Get this out the way. I see a little notification. Okay. So, and then you just mix it. That's it, man. That is it. Easy peasy. And this is how simple my last video was supposed to go when it came down to this part. But again, Ashley just wasn't being careful as much as I tell you guys to be careful. So I had to kind of learn the hard way on that one. But you learn from your mistakes and hopefully you don't make them again, right? So yeah, you get everything well incorporated, mixed together. See if I can mix it so y'all can see it. And so what happens is the salt, back up so y'all can see my face. The salt in here, because if you can see, like right now it's kind of dry. There's no liquid in here, right? I left the tomatoes seeded so that it can form its own sauce. But the reason that you add the salt to it is to help draw out all of the moisture. So when you let this sit in the cooler for an hour, and I can actually I can see juice already starting to form. Once you have it chilled for an hour, you're going to notice a lot more liquid. The liquid is what's going to make this whole thing come together, and it's going to be totally, totally delicious. So anytime that you can make you some fresh Pico De Gallo, you saw how easy it was as long as you're just being careful. It's really good. And look how much I made. With all of my ingredients, I made enough for the entire week. So sometimes it's just worth it, the extra effort, especially when you can reap the rewards at the end. But I'm going to put the top on this bad boy, let it chill, and we're going to eat in a little bit. I really hope that you enjoyed the video and looking forward to bringing y'all some more videos like shorts and things like that. I have been posting shorts. I'm going to be starting school, being busy and things like that. So I do want to make sure that I cater to my fans. So if there is anything that you would like to see me prepare, um, I did a chocolate ganache recently that was absolutely delicious. But if you want to see me do anything else, any kind of desserts, um, or maybe some other kind of sauces or any kind of dishes, let me know. I'll be happy to try them out. All right. Leave your likes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And also just leave your comments if you would like to see, if you have any creative suggestions on how to use this, or what do you like to put inside of your Pico de Gallo if it's different from this. So looking forward to hearing from y'all. Y'all have a good one. See you soon.